Hello, welcome to Senior Design Showcase. My name is Brennan Robertson. I am the team's squad lead and product manager. I am joined today by our team's development manager, Gage Zittler. And we're here today to talk to you and show you Painless Prep. Painless Prep is a new startup that is here to have us create a new app for their company. Before we get into that, we'll quickly just recognize the other hardworking members of this team. They all have been huge parts of this team and have made this just an absolutely incredibly enjoyable year and helped create a lot of fun memories in developing this project. Those members are Yusuf Fatih, Dominic Mai, Anchi Zhao, and Jake Modica. Again, just like to say thanks to all of them for making this an incredible year and an incredible project. On top of that, we had some incredible sponsors who worked with us throughout the year. They met with us about every week to help point the project in the right direction, fine-tune different details, and help us figure out certain requirements and specifics in terms of what we were looking for. And just, again, want to say thank you to them. Those individuals are Tom Thompson, Mike Schmidt, Rob Gibson, and John Barnhart. Would have been a much harder year if we didn't have them giving us the direction on what to do. And so thank you to them.
We also had assistance from the CSE department. Most notably, we had Jeff Falkenberg, our tribe lead. He was responsible for giving us our grades and making sure that everyone in the team was working. We had Bill Browning, the project manager, who was responsible for managing communication between the team and sponsor and answering any questions that either party may have had. And then we had Brian Ardinger from Nelnet. He was our coach, and he was available as a resource in case we had questions about our technology or if we were having any issues with it. When painting French windows, there are either wood or plastic dividers between each of the panes. These may need to be repainted either for upkeep or for style. Typically, a painter will cut multiple pieces of paper to the correct size and tape them inside the window, or they'll use masking tape to only cover the parts of the window that might be affected by the paintbrush. This is a very tedious and time-consuming task, so Painless Prep wanted to create a better solution. Using their technology, we're able to take a picture of a French window, measure the size of the pane, and order vinyl papers from John Barnhart that can then be stuck inside the pane. The painter can then paint the dividers and peel off the vinyl, and the windows will be untouched. As for the app itself, the front end, or just the general app itself, was created with Ionic and Angular, both of which are JavaScript frameworks. Ionic is used to make web technologies work on phones, and Angular is a web technology made for creating websites. For the backend, we had a Node.js server using the Express.js library. Express.js is just a library that makes the Node style program work as a web server. And finally, we used a MySQL relational database for long-term storage. This is for things such as user accounts and orders, which need to be kept for a long time. One of the biggest challenges we had during this development process was deploying. For iOS, we used TestFlight. This required us to meet the guidelines that Apple has set for all applications, even though our app was in beta. Additionally, iOS development is very locked down in general, and with TestFlight, it was very difficult to get outside users to install the application. It would take up to a full day for people other than our sponsors to install the app. Android, however, was much easier. All we had to do was build an APK file and send it to our sponsors, and they could then install it onto their Android devices, including updates.
And over the course of the year, we had some other issues, other problems that we had to work through and try and solve. But over the span of the project, we had two main problems that we had to work on to create solutions. And one was the need of creating the app, and the other was being able to measure these windows precisely. We'll get into the latter here shortly, but focusing more on the multifunction app, we had to not only be able to measure windows, but also be capable of organizing jobs in that list to help keep all the windows that have been measured organized for the painters, help manage them in the style that would best suit whoever it was with preferred units, be able to place orders and order them to be cut out and shipped by John Barnhart, and view past orders and keep track of transaction histories. That was something that required a lot of just planning out ahead of time before we could tackle into it, and then putting it together in an app and making it look real nice was something that was a big part of the year, and we proudly believe we developed something that looks pretty clean. Going into the second part of that, back to the measuring of the window, this was something that hasn't quite been done yet before, and there are some phones and devices out there that are able to measure things, but their precision's only to about 4 inches of a margin of error. And for this to be feasible in terms of the app, it was necessary our precision hit 1/16 of an inch, which is a big jump in terms of technology and accuracy here. And so as a team, we worked real hard to troubleshoot, brainstorm, come up with a bunch of different ideas, and reached kind of an inspiration from a military principle that's used for calibrating bomber of aircraft, like targeting. And we kind of took that inspiration to use a reference object, unlike theirs, which is like lines on the runway. We kind of developed a reference object to put on the window and use that to help calibrate the picture. And from there, once we have a picture taken and can calibrate it, we are able to adjust for distortion and skew. That comes from the curvature of the camera lens. And once we had accounted for all that, it allowed us to start working on recognition of corner detection and recognizing the reference object in the window frame. And with that, that kind of wraps up the big parts of our project and what we were proud of. Also be all the proud just of successfully completing this project and delivering this to Painless Prep, and just getting to work together as a team with all the sponsors and faculty that helped us throughout the year. It was a fun journey, and we really enjoyed this opportunity and the process that it was given to us. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you have a great day.